Hello, I'm Ryan Arnold, Director of Community Engagement, and with me today is Marguerite Stoffel, a junior at Drake studying accounting with an interest in corporate social responsibility. Through her work with the Dean's Office and Zimpelman College of Business, Marguerite is helping to advise best practice with our community engagement management system. With this academic year, Drake invested in GivePulse platform, which we have branded internally as DUgood. This platform helps us connect students with nonprofit partners, facilitating volunteer capacity for your organizations. Hopefully, you've started to use GivePulse to connect with Drake students. And if not, let's connect. Today, Marguerite and I wish to bring to you two items for your attention. Marguerite, why don't you take it from here?
Thanks, Ryan. First of all, we just wanted to welcome you and thank all of you that have taken time to go in and claim your GivePulse and DUgood account. It's a really important tool that we've been using across campus so far this year to connect students and community partners. But with that, we want to help all of you be able to connect with student groups and students who would benefit more from partnerships with you, as well as connect you to students that will help you to fill your need with volunteers. So through that, it's really important to do a few things on the platform. One is to make sure that you're using it to approve any impacts that may be logged to your group. And then the other is to be always posting events and making sure students are aware of volunteer opportunities that they could come and assist your group with. What you see first here is just my account profile. So this will look a little bit different than what you all will see, but for your community partner, you will be able to go into manage, and then within the back end of that, it'll look more like this. So this is a student group that I manage that we'll use to kind of walk through what we're asking that you do to connect better with students. So the first thing we want you to do is to go to edit group, and then update your basic info. Any descriptions, any websites are really important to add here. It'll just direct students to where to go for information. And then you can also update your pictures and logos. But what we really want you to focus on right now is updating the causes that your organization supports. So this will allow students to find your group by cause. And we're also encouraging student groups to do the same thing, which will then allow you to find student groups that align with your mission and connect with those to promote opportunities. You can also go in and fill out sustainable development goals that do a similar thing. This is an optional step. The causes are what will be really important here. And then as far as creating events, this event tab will be kind of your main place to go, and then just go to add an event, and it walks you through pretty much all of the steps. I'll show how to do a little bit here. But something we really want to focus on is filling out this description part. And we don't want community partners to have to do more work than is necessary. So if you already have a volunteer management system, this is the area where you would want to add a link to that system for students to sign up. And then you can continue to add cover photos and then an administrator. Another important spot is this event type. So if it's a volunteer event, if it's just a normal event, if it's a project, and then also frequency. So if you're using this to create your entire event, you really want to do multiple or ongoing if it will be multiple or ongoing events. That will allow you to not have to go back into the system and recreate the event each time it's happening. Privacy level is also important. This is where you determine who can see your event. So public will mean it's available to the entire public. Private to the entire network is private to all of Drake. And then from there, it just gets a little bit more specific. So you can do that as is needed as well. And then you'll see date and time details. Participants needed. This is another spot I like to highlight. If you have a cap, it's important to put whatever that maximum number of registrants is. But if you don't, I always suggest going on the higher end. This will just make sure that you don't reach the maximum number and you are open to as many volunteers as possible if that is the case for your event. And then here you can add any notes about the address and where people should go. If there's specific instructions for a volunteer entrance, that's important to add here as well. And then as you can see, if you forget anything, it will remind you and have you fill that out. So at this point, you can publish your event if you don't have anything else to add. On the side, you can see kind of a guide that will walk you through the rest of any details you can add to your event. So I'll kind of just run through that, but registration settings just involve when can people start registering, when do people have to stop, and when can people cancel. And then notifications, DUgood will send out an email reminding people that they're signed up to volunteer. So you can set when you would like that email to be sent out, as well as if you would like to customize that email, which I always recommend because the template email feels a little bit cold. So making that a little more personalized and adding any information volunteers might need to know is important as well. And then this registration form section could be really important for your organization if you need any additional information from volunteers. So this is where you can go in and request additional information. For example, for Drake events, a lot of times we need students' Drake IDs. So you can just add a question about that and determine what their Drake ID is. So this will all pop up. And then you can also determine if you want this to be a required question or if you just are wondering something about your volunteer beforehand. And then something I also like to highlight on this page is you have to click the save button in order for it to save. If you just press publish, it will all go away. And then another important part for students and when they're logging their impacts after they've volunteered are these impact settings and impact form. So this will allow students to log their impact or their volunteer hours to your organization. And this determines kind of how that comes through in the system and how you see that. So it's just some more details surrounding that, as well as like if people can log their impacts early. If you're working with another community group, if it's like two organizations together, this is where you would be able to put that other organization to share the impacts with. And then the impact types is also important. If it's just a volunteer event, you can deselect everything except for time. Again, anything that is applicable to your event can be sent here. And then more notifications. So make sure you go in and adjust this. Otherwise, DUgood will automatically send 3 emails after your event. So you can adjust this to be whatever you would like. And again, you can customize that email if necessary. And then finally, similar to when you're customizing your group's profile, there's also another causes part. So same thing, we want you to go in and fill out the causes that this event sorts because it will allow students to find your group or your event because of those causes. So even if you have an alternate volunteer management system and you didn't do many of the previous steps, you just linked that, it's still important to go in and fill out these causes because it will allow students to find your organization and your event easier. So very similar thing to before, just select which causes align with your event and your organization as a whole. And then again, you can go in and select sustainable development goals as well. Similar to your group, it's not quite as important, but it will allow for greater search capabilities to find organizations that align with your mission as an organization. Finally, before publishing an event, it's important to go in and select any skills if needed. This again will just help with search optimization and finding students that align with the skills that you need. So as you can see, there's a lot of options here to create any or to add any skills that you find you may need for this event. And then at this time, we'll publish the event. And then this just makes it visible to all of the users on DUgood. So as you can see here, if we go back to the home page and look for events, we can see the event we just created. So this is where students will then be able to find and sign up for your event.
Thank you so much, Marguerite. Appreciate your guidance as we continue to adapt to this community engagement management system through GivePulse, locally branded as DUgood. And thank you to our partners for your continued work with Drake students, providing them with excellent opportunity to make a difference and to grow with experience here in Des Moines.